Red lights filled the bridge before I even opened my eyes. The alarm was not loud, but it was steady. And steady alarms are worse than loud ones. They mean the computer is sure. I pulled myself out of my chair and looked at the main screen. Space was supposed to be empty out here. It was not empty. It was full. Thousands of ships hung in the dark, spread out in every direction, so many that my mind refused to count them. They did not move. They did not blink with lights. They just sat there, frozen, like toys left behind by a child who had grown up and never come back. My name is Daniel Whitmore, and I was the sensor officer on the ship Horizon Vale. We were not supposed to find anything like this. Our mission was simple: scan a quiet corner of space, log some rocks, and go home. Instead, we had found a graveyard the size of a small solar system. Captain Ellen Marsh stood beside me, her arms folded, her eyes narrow. She did not look afraid. She looked like she was doing math in her head. "Daniel," she said, "tell me none of those are powered up." I checked my screen twice before I answered. None of them. No engines, no weapons, no life support. They are all cold. Every single one. "Thousands of ships," said our engineer, a young man named Peter Ford, "and not one of them is running. That is not a battle. That is not a graveyard from a war." "Then what is it?" Ellen asked. Peter did not answer right away. None of us had an answer. Our science officer, a calm woman named Grace Whitfield, leaned closer to the screen. She had spent years studying ruins on other worlds, and she had a way of speaking that made even strange things sound like puzzles instead of nightmares. "Look at how they are arranged," she said. "It is not random, it is a formation. Rows, circles, layers. This was not a surprise attack. These ships stopped on purpose." I felt a small chill at that word. Purpose. Ships did not stop by accident in perfect rows. Something made them stop, all at once, and they had never started again. Ellen made the call fast, the way good captains do. "We are not leaving without answers. Daniel, pick the largest ship near us. Peter, prep a shuttle. Grace, you are with me. We go in, we look, we come back. No heroes." I picked the closest and largest vessel, a giant shape 1/2 kilometer long, its hull dark gray, with lines and markings I did not recognize. It looked ancient, but not broken. Every piece of it seemed to be in place, waiting. The shuttle ride over was quiet, too quiet. Even Peter, who always had a joke ready, said nothing the whole way. I watched the dead ships slide past the window, one after another, endless, silent, like a crowd of statues watching us pass. We landed inside an open bay on the giant ship. The doors had been left wide open, as if whoever left had not planned on coming back, and did not care who found the place. Inside, the air was thin but breathable, filtered through old systems that somehow still worked. Our suit lights cut through the dark, showing long hallways with strange metal walls, some kind of writing carved into them, symbols I had never seen before. Grace ran her scanner over the walls. "This is not decay," she said. "This is not a wreck. Everything here was left in order. Look at the floor. No damage, no scorch marks, no blood, no signs of a struggle." "So they just walked away," Peter said. "Or they made themselves disappear," Grace answered. "There is a difference." We moved deeper into the ship, past rooms filled with equipment that still had a strange kind of order to it. Chairs pushed in, tools placed on shelves, nothing thrown around in panic. It felt less like an emergency and more like everyone had simply agreed to stop, all at the same moment, and never come back. Grace found a large chamber near the center of the ship, round in shape, with a raised platform in the middle, covered in the same strange symbols. She began recording everything, her hands moving fast over her scanner. "This might be some kind of record," she said. "A message. Give me a minute." While she worked, I walked the edge of the room, my light passing over more symbols carved deep into the metal. Something about the pattern felt familiar, almost like a story told in pictures instead of words. Ships, stars, and one shape that repeated again and again, a shadow with no clear form, swallowing everything near it. "Captain," I said, "I think I found something." Ellen came over, and I pointed at the carvings. "This looks like a story. Ships flying together, peaceful, then this shape appears. After that shape shows up, every ship stops moving, every single one." Grace looked up sharply. "A warning," she said, "not a grave. A warning left by the ones who were here before." "Warning about what?" Peter asked, his voice tighter now. Grace studied the shape again. "I think whatever destroyed them did not attack ships that stayed still and silent, only the ones that moved, or made noise, or sent out signals. So the survivors made a choice. Freeze, go dark, never move again. Maybe that is why they are still here, untouched, after all this time. They were never destroyed. They were hiding." The room felt colder after she said that, even though nothing about the temperature had changed. "If that is true," Ellen said slowly, "and we have been running scanners, sending signals, moving through open space this whole time." Nobody finished that sentence. We did not need to. I checked my scanner out of habit, more to steady my hands than anything else. That is when I saw it. A single blip, far across the field of dead ships, showing a tiny rise in power. Just a flicker. Then it grew stronger. "Something is happening," I said, and my voice came out sharper than I meant it to. "One of the ships out there. It is powering up." Ellen turned fast. "Which one?" I pulled up the coordinates. It was not close to us, but it was not far either. One ship among thousands, suddenly no longer silent, its systems climbing from nothing to something in a matter of seconds. "Could be the thing they warned about," Peter said, already moving toward the shuttle. "Could be it just woke up because we are here." Grace looked torn between fear and pure curiosity. "Or," she said, "it could be something else. A response. Maybe not every ship in that fleet chose silence out of fear. Maybe one of them was built to wait for exactly this moment, for someone who was not afraid to come looking." Ellen did not hesitate for long. She was the kind of captain who moved towards strange things instead of away from them, and in that moment, I understood why command had picked her. "We go look," she said. "Carefully. If it is dangerous, we run, but we are not going to sit here and guess. Daniel, keep eyes on it every second. Peter, get us moving." We left the giant ship the way we came, back through the open bay, back into the shuttle, and out into that endless field of frozen ships. As we flew, I kept my scanner locked on the one vessel that had woken up. Its power kept rising, steady, controlled, not wild or chaotic, like some kind of weapon losing containment. It felt almost deliberate, like something old had simply decided it was time to open its eyes. The ship itself came into view a few minutes later, smaller than the one we had just left, sleek instead of heavy, with lights now glowing faintly along its hull, blue and soft, spreading like veins waking up under skin. "No weapons charging," I said, checking every reading twice. "No offensive systems active, just power, life support, and something in the front section I cannot fully read yet." "Communication array?" Grace asked. I checked again. Yes, it just went active. We hovered at a safe distance, all of us watching the screen, waiting for something terrible to happen. Instead, a signal came through, weak at first, then steadier, shaped into a pattern our translation systems could slowly work through. Not words exactly, more like a rhythm, a pulse, repeating over and over. Grace worked fast, feeding it through every system we had. After a long minute, she looked up, her eyes wide, not with fear this time, but with something closer to wonder. "It is not attacking us," she said. "It is answering us." This ship was left with instructions. Wait, stay silent, until someone arrives who does not run at the first sign of danger. Someone who investigates instead of hides. That is us, Peter said quietly. That is us, Grace repeated. I looked out at the endless rows of silent ships stretching in every direction. Thousands of vessels that had chosen fear over movement, safety over answers, and had stayed frozen for longer than any of us could guess. And in the middle of all that stillness, one ship had chosen differently, built by whoever came before to wait, and wait, and wait, until the right kind of visitor finally showed up. Ellen's voice was steady when she spoke into the comm, sending word back to the horizon veil. This is the captain. We found the graveyard. We found the reason for it too. And we just woke something up that has been waiting a very long time for someone like us. She paused, watching the ship's lights grow brighter outside our window, spreading further along its hull with every second. Bring the ship in closer, she said. Let us see what happens when something finally gets an answer. The blue lights kept spreading, brighter now, reaching out toward us like a hand finally being offered after a very long silence. And somewhere behind it, in the great and endless field of frozen ships, I had the strangest feeling that more than one of them was starting, very slowly, to wake up too.